Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Brad X, the owner and founder of Suburban Noise Records, member of the KMKs. I just want to address a couple issues that have been happening around the Sub Noise camp. I know there's been a lot of speculation and rumors going on. Yes, it is true. I have been fired from the label that I started. Basically, to rewind the clock, in 1996, I founded Sub Noise to do artist-friendly 50-50 deals. And we started building up a nice little underground label.
Alright guys, so I guess you can consider this some type of a conspiracy video, or a, not so much of a conspiracy, but going through videos and finding the facts about Cottonmouth Kings and breaking it down and figuring out what exactly happened. Should Daddy X be blamed, or should somebody else be blamed? Are there other people involved? Did Pakalika fake his death? What about Saint Dog? We're gonna get into all that type of stuff here going on into this video here, but I'm not very good with any type of video effects and stuff like that. All I'm gonna do is try to explain my theory about what I think had happened, and I'm gonna show you guys clips of what they're saying and stuff like that, and we'll just go from there. Basically, I have all these videos and stuff, and I have different songs that have been made, and different things that have been said, tweets, video, and stuff that's been said through texts. Basically, in my opinion, I see that Daddy X is not to be blamed. And this can go on for a long time. It depends on if you guys are interested in watching what I have to say and interested in the things that I'm trying to put out there, because from what I see, I kind of feel like I know the truth about what actually happened. And if you follow my train of thought here as I break down the things that have been said from the past to the present, they used to put out DVDs, documentaries, with what had actually happened and how everything started and different things at different times. And if you look at the things that they put out, that Daddy X had been the man to do and get it all taken care of, like creating different videos and stuff like that, you'll see different things and different levels of why they're putting certain things out and why certain things came out at certain times. And it kind of like tells you a story about what had happened from the inside without someone actually coming out and saying this happened, this happened, this happened. Because you know what, Daddy X is a mastermind when it comes to this type of stuff. And I'm gonna assume that a lot of the people on the inside didn't know the type of things that he was actually doing, as far as what type of videos he was putting out and why these videos were being put out. They were just going along with it. They didn't understand why he was doing the things he was. And then his name still got dragged through the dirt and through the mud. And of course, he's not talking anymore. So you're not going to get anything from Daddy X. But if we go back and rewind the clock, we can kind of get an idea for what exactly happened. In my eyes, I'm going to give you the things that I think happened, and then I'm going to go ahead and break it all down for you. So, from my opinion, in my opinion here,
What's up, everybody?
there's a lot of different types of interviews and stuff like that have gone on that are very important and crucial to the things that I'm going to be talking about. So, to start, what I believe happened, and then I'm going to break everything down, is I believe that Daddy X, and like I said, I have proof of all this stuff, and I'm going to be showing everything from start to finish. Daddy X was the man who created everything, just like he said there in that interview. And I also have other things like the documentaries from 2000, 2002 or whatever, from back then. say the same thing, and I'm going to be going over that and showing you that stuff. Just because he said it there in a more recent one in like 2017 or whatever, when this stuff had been going on, doesn't mean that it's untrue. Because when they dropped those documentaries, they were all in on those documentaries. All of them had their own thing to say about Daddy X and about how everything started, and they were excited to explain what happened. So you know they're not just putting out bullshit lies and stuff like that. They were excited to say, yeah, this happened, this is how it went down, this is what happened. And now all of a sudden they're trying to switch their words, or they're not leaving stuff out and stuff like that. Not so much switching their words, but leaving stuff out and trying to act like this, trying to portray a picture that may have not been exactly the full truth of what happened. So that's what I want to do, is try to expose exactly what happened, because you know that Richter doesn't like speaking out on things, but I've found a lot of different convincing evidence, and I want to hopefully get you guys to see all that stuff. So this is just an introduction. If I get people that are interested in seeing this stuff, then yes, I'm going to continue with this saga. But right now, what I'm going to do is try to explain the things that I think had happened. And if you guys are interested in seeing the proof of what I saw and why I think that this is the path that it was led down, then we're going to continue to make these sagas so that you guys can take a look at different points in interviews where things are said, and then current things that have been said that don't exactly line up. So, and then we're going to break it all down and figure out which one's the truth, which one's a lie, and why maybe words are being switched or left out. So from my experience and things that I've seen, Daddy X was the voice of everything. If you go back through the documentaries, it's Daddy X's voice. Daddy X was the one who ran everything. Okay, he was the inspiration for videos and media and stuff like that. Zinger was the guy who had the connections. That's what he was there for. He also had money. So he was there for connections and money. As far as everything else, the marketing, the psychology behind their videos, and that's a big thing, is a lot of the psychology that we're going to be breaking down with why certain things came out at certain times. But Daddy X was the man who did all that stuff. And you got to think about that he was the one that was making all the choices. He was, obviously Zinger was also in on some of the choices, and part of the choices being the financial side of stuff. So Daddy X, in my opinion, should not be blamed. His name should not be dragged through the dirt. And I understand that D-Loc and Richter are working with him currently in 2021. But I'm going to break down why I think that they are working with him. And it's basically that Daddy X isn't around, So basically, from what I've seen and from what I've dug up, and I'm going to, go through it and make videos and stuff like that if this is something that people want to see, is that Daddy X started this place. He was the one that was the guy saying everything. Obviously, we have different rappers and stuff like that, D-Loc, Richter, and all the other people that come in and out throughout the time. And Daddy X was the one who was starting the clubs that they go to, creating the events. He was the one that was scheduling stuff. And all D-Loc and Richter really basically did was go along with everything. Once Daddy X set everything up, D-Loc and Richter just walked in and started and rapped and then left. And Daddy X was the one who was creating everything for the platform, for the foundation for these guys to be able to do their thing on. So as time went on, you get to this financial thing and you find out that, is Zinger doing it or is Daddy X doing it? Who's the one that's the problem? Well, you got to think about it. Daddy X was the one that was on the road all the time. Zinger was the one that was just sitting in the office in the back. So of course Zinger was the issue. And Zinger lost the lawsuit. Daddy X won the lawsuit. Now, D-Loc then put out some type of interview saying that, hey, um, Daddy X started UFM, and it was bullshit, and it fell apart. And but the thing is that, as you can see what Daddy X just said in that other interview, let's hear it again real quick.
Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Brad X, the owner and founder of Suburban Noise Records, member of the Cottonmouth Kings. I just want to address a couple issues that have been happening around the Sub Noise camp. I know there's been a lot of speculation and rumors going on.
Yep.
Yes, it is true. I have been fired from the label that I started. Basically, to rewind the clock in
See, now fired, maybe not the right word. More like he stepped back, because we'll get into that later on also. It was more of like he stepped down. He was still a part of everything, but he distanced himself. Not so much fired, because you can't be fired from something you own, especially when it's equal portions, unless you are convicted, guilty of gross negligence. And we all know that Daddy X was doing work. He was there doing the right thing, making sure that Cottonmouth Kings ran, so there's no way that he could be fired except for gross negligence, which is like ruining the company basically, or you're not doing anything, and that's not the case.
1996, I founded Sub Noise to do artist-friendly 50-50 deals.
See, he wants to do artist-friendly 50-50 deals. He is trying to do things for artists, including his own people. His name is Daddy X. He's trying to be the person that has responsibility, and he wants to have this friendly family atmosphere. That's why his new company name was United Family Music. When he got out of the lawsuit, that's the company he made. Instead of Subnoise, he created a new one so that he could bring people together and hope that he could restart the whole thing.
And we started building up a nice little underground label. In 2001, Cottonmouth Kings manager at the time and part owner of SRH, Kevin Zinger, approached me about running the day-to-day, and in return, I'd give him half of the company, bring him in, and he'd run the day-to-day so I could, tour and produce records.
Exactly. So exactly what I had just said, he just had voiced right there. Now, back up a little bit to this United Family thing. The reason I believe that it didn't work out was because of all the problems that had been built up prior to that. He probably came in because I've opened two businesses now, one with someone and one by myself. And the first one with someone is never as easy as the one that I have now. The one I had before was full of drama, full of work here, work there. I don't see you doing anything, but you're doing stuff in the back end, and then this person's doing stuff in the front end and not doing enough and doing too much or not enough, and just a whole bunch of confusion, and where there's a lot of just negativity and sneakiness as time goes on. And the one who is correct, usually a lot of the time, is the one who wins the lawsuit and prevails and continues on. He ended up making that, and there was so much drama. I do remember seeing an interview, and again, I'm going to put all this stuff out there if you guys want me to put it out there. I do remember seeing an interview where something was said about just mad disrespect to each other, and also Daddy X was a part of it. I'm not going to say that Daddy X did not disrespect people, because that's just what happens when you get fed up with stuff and you're the owner. It's like, hey man, listen to me, I'm the owner of the place. And then when you got Richter and D-Loc and people that feel like they contributed to starting everything and being part owners, even though on paper they're not part owners, they still are not going to do what they're supposed to do if they feel that, for example, they're needed. They're the ones that, like it's like a strike where it's like, we're actually needed So we're not going to do anything until you do give in to our demands. And that's kind of something that had been going on in their compound, basically, is what I believe, in their business. Daddy X trying to be more of an owner, whereas when it started out, they were all friends and family doing everything. And then as time went on and money started going down or up, or we weren't sure where money was going, it started becoming more of a business. And that wasn't the atmosphere that they were used to. Not only used to, but they didn't want that atmosphere. So when it came time to being like, I'm the owner and this is the final decision, you got to remember that Daddy X have been making all the decisions up to then. The only decisions that weren't really being made were like, yo, you gotta, I don't even know what type of decisions could possibly be made where you are trying to tell somebody like, yo, you gotta make a couple bars on this track here so that we can put the track out. With D-Loc and Richter being like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not singing. I'm not gonna rap. I don't know what type of stuff have been going on, but I do know that there was back and forth disrespect between each other. Daddy X with them with Daddy X, and once United Family Music was created, he was hoping that everything would be washed away. They'd have a brand new restart because Daddy X in his mind was thinking that all the stress was coming from the fact that Zinger was not holding up his end of the deal, giving fake certificates to them, saying that they own part of the company, and faking the books, telling them different things about the finances that weren't really true. So once he started this United Family Music, it was supposed to be like a breath of fresh air where everything restarted, but I'm sure that for the first week or so, or however, for a little bit of time, there was some times where Daddy X had felt better, and everybody in the whole place felt better, and as time went on, and not much time went on, they ended up really getting back into the old stuff that had been going on and the disrespect and stuff. And Daddy X closed United Family Music, did not go under. Daddy X has money, and that he closed it because he was burnt out, done with it, and that's why you don't see him anymore, because he's burnt out. He's done with the disrespect, and he is a smart guy. He realizes that nothing's going to change. No matter what happens, nothing's going to change, because he can't give part ownership. He can give part ownership, but not the amount that the other guys are looking for. They think that they're worth more than they actually are, which is the problem. And everybody thinks that they're worth more than they are. But you got to understand that if Daddy X is going to be doing lyrics, rapping, and he's going to be doing the back end as well, he deserves more, percentage, a lot more percentage. He basically, if he's the one that's going to be controlling where the company goes and the directions and scheduling and all that stuff that he had normally been doing, all the choices, which D-Loc even says in his interview, or in his, when he tells the truth about Will Mosley and stuff while he's sitting in his truck and he's talking about how he can't have Daddy X making the choices anymore. He's got to do them himself. He's all grown up now. And, I can't ask Daddy X to do anything anymore. That's the whole thing, is that Daddy X was always the one to make these choices. So if you're going to be running a company, you need to be the owner of it to make sure that it's run correctly. And if you have other people that are part owners, it's just going to get in the way. And he already knew that. He already knew that somebody would be like, well, I'm part owner of this, and I think that we should be doing this. We'll always do what you want to do, and why can't we do what I want? And it's like, well, because I have the experience. I've done 20 years of choices already. You've just sat there and watched me do them. I'm already in on it. I know what to do. So that's my experience. That's what I believe happened. I believe that Daddy X is actually the person that should have not had his name drug under, but because of all the stuff, he's just burnt out, and he doesn't want nothing to do with it anymore. And, with all the lies and deceit and everything that's been going on, You can't really blame them. Business does that stuff to you. And what you got to also understand is that sometimes you learn from people, whether you want to learn from them or not and copy them or not. And with all the drama and everything that's been going on, it made him feel like he had to do things a certain way. So what I'm saying with that is that Zinger cut finances and was being deceitful and stuff. And it actually, with all the years of doing that, Daddy X just fell in the habit of doing that as well. Even though he's a good person, and even though for the whole time he was doing what he was supposed to do, it just happened, and he didn't want to continue that way. That's not what he started it for. And you know, just from this thing that he just started, he didn't start it to be someone who was taking advantage of people. Because realistically, labels take more than 50%. They take 70, 80%, and the artist gets a lot less, because without the label, the artist doesn't get put out there unless they do all the work. But the label's already done the work to get that publicity and marketing. So Daddy X wanted to do family-friendly deals of 50-50. You get 50, I get 50. Label gets 50 for the marketing. The rapper gets, the musician, the artist gets 50 for their art. And that's not how it usually is. Labels take way more. So, he was trying to do something to make a good impact in his community and his label and stuff, and it just so happened to turn out that it wasn't working out. And not because it didn't work out, but it's because of just everything that had happened in the bad blood that was brought in, which was Zinger. And Zinger basically forced himself in, and you'll see. I could pull up the interviews and stuff. Zinger asked too many times, like multiple times, to get them to be a part of it. But also, if without Zinger, this may not have been anything. So there's a lot of different things going on. There's a lot of different old interviews, new interviews that I have that I want to go over. But in my opinion, Daddy X is burnt out. He is not the person to be blaming. He actually had been doing nothing but making good choices for everybody, and then all of a sudden he's getting hit with disrespect, and like as if he didn't do anything for Cottonmouth Kings, as if he had nothing to do with Cottonmouth Kings. All of a sudden everybody else was the one that was doing everything, and Daddy X was basically left to go screw himself. So, in the end, yes, he did leave. He may have sold all the records and stuff, but you know what? It's because of all the disrespect and everything, and everybody's going to have to move on without Daddy X because it's not there. The last thing I'm going to leave off with is a song that they made after the court case, which was Daddy X and Dirtball. And the song is Robbery. I don't know if you guys have heard this yet, but we're going to go ahead and try to get this going.
I ran every single fucking artist in the room. Give me everything in your fucking pockets. Give me your masters. Give me your goddamn lies.
This song about a man gone wrong in the record biz, drawn to the other side, greedy eyes, evil bone. Took advantage and managed to mismanage his way to the top of the financial dichotomy all alone. Stealing from his own partnership, digging channels out the main money vein and taking chunks of cash home. Ripping off the artists on the label, working hard to put the food up on the table. You can hear it in my tone. Feeling like the man sifting through the sand with the sticky hand, he began to rip them off even more. And since the music sales went from physical to digital, he felt the need to ramp it up and rape them to the core. I don't understand why the fuck he done it, why the fuck he kept us from the knowledge, kept us from the income door. Knowing good and well he had us, what matters is what we do about it now. Here he comes.
Pay attention to the lyrics, guys.
Everybody, it's a robbery. Keep your head down, don't bother me. Give me all of your money and your jewelry. Right now, everything, get involved and hands up. Everybody, it's a robbery. Keep your face down, don't bother me. Give me all of your money and your jewelry. Right now, everything, speed it up. And if it wasn't enough to take the iTunes, YouTube, licensing, everything, royalty and publishing, he then went further grabbing large amounts of loot to Switzerland, buying everything, then threw a mansion in, and never even stopped to give a damn about the artists, the ones that make the music out of any work the hardest, the ones that put their life up on the line on tour and keep it grinding. I'm seeing clear water, bottom scum we finding, but this squabble wobble not only upon the guilty. You steal from us once, not good, twice shifty, 5 times equal 1 word, and that be skedaddle. This hail's on your tail, brah, you picked the wrong battle. Motherfucker, what made you think that you could further pillage? We're clogging up the siphon, standing up for the village. No more, give us back what you stole, and let it be a lesson to the industry mold. Don't put your hands up, everybody, it's a robbery. Keep your face down, don't bother me. Give me all of your money and your jewelry. Right now, everything's speeding up, now let's go. So help me God. I started this hip-hop shit back in 96. Real talk, welcome to the record biz. Fresh first ride, then some money come. You gotta quench your thirst till you're feeling numb. You put your trust in him, so he thinks you're dumb. Then you pull a spade card out on everyone. Regime lines the walls, but gold fake plaques. They got hostages tied up in the back. Everybody, it's a robbery. Keep your head down, don't bother me. Give me all of your money and your jewelry. Right now, everything, get involved. Now hands up, everybody, it's a robbery. Keep your face down, don't bother me. Give me all of your money and your jewelry. Right now, everything, speed it up. Now let's go. Stick 'em up, stick 'em up.
I'm going to leave you guys with this. The reason that I believe D-Loc and Richter are not on any of these type of tracks or anything like that, number one, Dirtball is somebody who came in and was just business. So if anybody to believe anyways that has no emotional, emotional involvement and stuff is Dirtball. Dirtball is going to be the one that's probably going to tell more of the truth, mostly the truth, versus what is his feelings about things and how, and like how D-Loc and Richter have known him since forever, and then all of a sudden they just start talking shit about him and don't want to say something, or they'll embellish things a lot more because they feel a lot more hurt because he's like daddy to him, or brother to him even. Whereas Dirtball came in, Daddy X was the owner, he was the boss, and Dirtball had to do as if you were in a 9-to-5 job. You go in, you got a manager, He's not your brother, he's somebody you don't know. You're just coming in there and doing what you need to do to try to make money, and that's what Dirtball went in there and did. He was trying to make money. The reason I believe you don't see D-Loc and Richter on these things is because there was an interview here where, D-Loc said that, we didn't sign our name on the piece of paper, so Daddy X ended up getting all the money, ended up winning the lawsuit, getting the money, and selling our records. Well, the reason D-Loc and Richter didn't sign their names on the piece of paper was, number one, they ended up spending all their money that they had on tours and stuff and didn't really have any money to put in towards the lawsuit with Daddy X, so they didn't want to go against Zinger. Number two, they maybe didn't believe Daddy X. And then once Daddy X won, there was a lot of built up and not remorse, but they were pissed that Daddy X won. Basically, they were expecting that Daddy X wasn't gonna win, and they were like, "What the hell, man?" And they still had that animosity towards Daddy X, even though he didn't win, just because of all the disrespect that had been going on for so long. And so they didn't want to try to help him at all. And that's another reason why United Family Music would have failed, is because they weren't there doing their part in trying to just be King Spade or any of that type of stuff. And if anybody has a question about King Spade, as I know there was one, King Spade is just D-Loc and Richter. That's them doing their own thing, separate from Cottonmouth King. Cottonmouth Kings has Daddy X and the whole band and everything. King Spade was literally just D-Loc and Richter making music together. But That's why they're not in on this stuff, is because they didn't have the money, or they didn't want to go against Zinger because they didn't know who to believe. And you know what? When you put up the money to get lawyers involved, and it's probably, especially a $15 million lawsuit, you're going to have to put up a good chunk of change for lawyers and stuff like that to battle somebody else who has that type of money. So Richter and Deloke did not have that type of money, or they didn't believe him. Nonetheless, regardless, Daddy X did not have any obligation to give them anything. And I believe that Daddy X did give them stuff, and we'll go through all that stuff, but I believe that Daddy X did still give them a portion, and they weren't grateful for it. Maybe Richter was, because you never hear anything, but you don't know because Richter's not saying anything. But I also have a theory on that from what I'll go through all that stuff. But that's basically it. They didn't sign their name on the piece of paper to go against Zinger because they didn't know who to believe, and they didn't have the money to put in to try to get it. And then when Daddy X wins, they still expect a portion of it, even though Daddy X was the one that put all his money into it and took the risk because he knew he was right. And Daddy X comes out the winner, and everybody's dragging his name through the mud. So I believe that's completely false. And if you guys want to continue to see some more stuff here, then drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe so you can see when the next one comes out, and we'll continue on and make this thing. I'll make better quality videos as time goes on as well, so that you guys can see different things that are going on and what I believe to be the truth. Thanks for watching, though, and keep it real, guys. Be nice to the people you love. It's getting crazy out there. There's sickness. People want to hurt each other. Let's try to be the people that are spreading love and peace. Exactly what Cottonmouth Kings stood for in the beginning. And let's try to love one another and just help each other out. So, be good to each other, and have a good one. I'll see you on the next one.